Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. My name is Penny Larson. This is another one in my Penny Recommends series, so if that's not your thing, feel free to click off this video and wait around for the next performance or drum lesson video. Today I want to talk to you about my favorite rock singer. And I throw the word favorite around a lot. I am guilty of engaging in hyperbole now and again, but I tend to think of favorite as more of a category than a specific. So this person might be my favorite rock singer, but I might have other favorite rock singers. This one might be a singular, though. This is Robert Plant. And I am going to talk to you today a little bit about his solo stuff and one album in particular, and we'll talk about his former band some other time. We will definitely come back to Robert Plant. One of the reasons that Robert Plant is so impressive to me is that he has managed to maintain a career into his older age. He's now 72, and the pandemic has slowed all of us down, but he's still singing, he's still working. As recently as 2017, he released the album that we're going to talk about today, and that is Carry Fire. This is one of my favorite albums in this style of music. And what do I mean by this style? It's rock, but it's mellow rock, kinda. There's drums, definitely, but there's also other percussion going on. I don't really want to call it mellow exactly. And if I just used the word mellow 20 seconds ago, I mean, it's right. It has plenty of ballads, but it also has lots of energy. It's not a low energy record by any means. But the thing about Robert Plant is he has morphed his career many times, and each time he seems to tune himself to where his body is and where his voice is. He is creating new music that is perfectly suited to his voice as it ages. And when the band goes out and plays live, they'll still play songs that he played in his former band and songs from his earlier solo career, but it's different, right? His voice has changed, as most aging singers do. Most of us, as we age, certain abilities tend to get stronger and certain abilities tend to mellow a little bit. Robert Plant has brilliantly wended that path of aging like wine, like the old expression goes. So this song, like I say, this album came out in 2017. It's with his most recent band, who are the Sensational Space Shifters. They released one studio album before this, Lullaby and the Ceaseless Roar. And they also had a live record that came out that was just called Sensational Space Shifters Live in London, July 2012. I pretty much like all of Robert Plant's solo output. My friend Steve and I saw Robert Plant live back when, oh goodness, so I was 18, maybe? 18, 19, somewhere in that range. And literally, we ended up, security broke down at the end of the night, and so we all rushed the stage. And like, Robert Plant's face was as close to me as like the camera is. Like, I literally could have touched Robert Plant if I was dumb enough to have wanted to get thrown out of the place. So Robert Plant has been someone I've loved, like, pretty much, as long as I was consciously aware of music. And this record in particular, I mean, I could have picked a couple records from his solo career. One of the reasons I picked this one is because it came out 5 years ago, he was 67. And in a certain way, it sounds like, you know, a mature rock singer, but it has every bit of passion of, this is one of those times where, you know, that expression, youth is wasted on the young, right? Like, he has all of the passion and zest and skill and talent and musical soul that he did when he was, 19. But then his voice has changed, right? Because time happens and voices change. And so listening to him use that, new voice with all of that same, energy, but then more experience and more wisdom is just fascinating. I haven't done this in any of the other recommends videos. Well, one of them didn't have lyrics, but no, neither one of them had lyrics. Have I mentioned I'm like kind of working myself into this? But so I want to read you at least a couple lyrics from my favorite song from the record, which is called Dance With You Tonight. And it's a song about, Robert Plant is a great lyricist and writes songs that are personal but also universal. I don't know what this is about to him, and I kind of don't care. I almost don't want to know, right? Because I know what it's about to me. And to me, that's more important. So it starts out, and now the carnival is over, someone turned out the light. Our fields of plenty filled with clover, so long ago and out of sight. This little light that keeps on shining all through the darkness, through the night, that evermore will keep reminding the road is long, the flame is bright. And so what I take from that is, here's this love affair, right? Clearly to me. It could be something else, but for me, this is very much it's talking about dancing together. So, but it's this long love affair that, like, maybe the two people are a little older and they're kind of like seeing the twilight in the distance, but there's also this call that the light's still bright. We're not near the end. We've been going a long time, but we're still not near the end. And it ends, if there's one more, only one more night, come on and dance with me, baby, make me feel all right. It's so, there's one line specifically I want to find for you. It's in the other set of lyrics. Here we go. At the very end, he says, put on your late, late smile. Come on and dance another mile. And it's difficult for me to listen to this song and not cry, as I'm almost welling up just reading you the lyrics, right? And so this album is a little different than the first two. The first one, Red Beach, we were talking about, hey, this cool guitar instrumental music, progressive, wahoo. And then last week, Miles Davis, oh my God, this really influential jazz fusion music that is one of the seminal records of like my musical education. And then this week, I'm going to kind of bounce back and forth for a few weeks, at least for a while. So first we were, in a record from 2020, and then a record from 69. And then now we're back in 2017. Next week we'll be back pre the millennium, right? So we'll be back in the 20th century next week. But I wanted to tell you about this record, even though the drums are amazing, right? They're at no point are you going to think, whoa, how did he do that? But the whole time you're going to think, oh my God, that's beautiful. That is so beautiful, right? And so I heard that phrase that, it's an old phrase. I've heard it before. There's a difference between simple and easy, right? And the drums on this record are elegant, right? They're everything they need to be and no more. And Plant's music is so good, and his singing is, it's like a warm blanket, right? I mean, it's just so so yeah, I recommend this record a lot to you, and this one might be, if you struggled with the last couple weeks, if you were thinking, oh, guitar shredder, instrumental music, that's okay, and weird jazz, that's okay. This is like right in the easy to listen to pocket, right? This will, if you're familiar with the Western musical canon, right? Like, so American rock and pop music, this will not challenge your sensibilities. It will just, it will just tickle your senses, yeah. Can you tell I like this record? This is one I can always tell. Here's a good sign. And so, it's difficult to talk about music that I've known for 40 years versus music that I've known for 4 years, right? Sometimes, and kind of compare, well, what does one record mean to me versus another record? This is one that I listen to over and over again in the car, right? I still listen to albums, even in my music player on my phone, and then Spotify, and in my car. I'll put an album on and I'll put it on repeat, just like I used to with my record player and just like I used to with my CD player. I still like to listen to a whole album as a thought, right? As this is this artist's presentation of this music. And not all musicians really care. A lot of records are just like 10 songs that, but this album really, I don't think it's thematic per se, but the record is an incredibly strong, unified statement. And yeah, like I say, I can't recommend it enough. Robert Plant is and was and has been just so influential for me. I've been watching some interviews with him to kind of prepare for this video, and wow, he's just a deep guy. He seems like such a cool cat, and so well adjusted and not full of himself. And I'm sure he was when he was 20, because everybody is when they're 20, right? But now as a septuagenarian, he's just seems so such a beautiful soul. And yeah, and listening to his music is a really great way to see that beautiful soul come through. So yeah, next week I'll probably try and throw something more drumistic at you again. Like I say, the drumming here it's not going to make you go, oh, what's going on there? But if you don't think the drumming on this record is amazing, I want you to try and think about why. Because I think the drumming on this record is amazing, and amazing means different things. And I'll always remember that, right? There are different ways to be outstanding. So I'm going to wrap. If you liked this video, I would appreciate you hitting that like button down below. If you're new here, I would love it if you subscribe to the channel. It really helps. If you hit the little notification bell, you'll get notified when I go live, which I'm trying to do more often. And you'll be sure to know when I release new videos. If you really love what I do have a Patreon. If you would like to support me, that helps a lot. Music is what I do professionally, and it's always been a little bit of a struggle, and this year with everything that's gone on, especially. So that is patreon.com/PennyLarson. Thank you all for watching. There'll be another live stream of me playing coming up soon, and one of these days I'm going to get back to that series on flow videos, and then we're going to get back to your first year of drum lessons, kind of with some deeper dives into some of the subjects I brought up last year. So, and then I have so many more albums to tell you about to listen to. When I first came up with this idea, I thought, oh, I will talk about albums and bands and drummers and songs. And the more I've thought about it, the more I've thought, For now, I want to just recommend records, and I think the next thing I might do is drummers. But for now, we're gonna do albums for at least a while because there's so many that I want to tell you about. And I'll try to keep it, usually one album per artist, unless there's like with Robert Plant. At some point in the future, we're going to talk about his former band, which I'm being coy about that. Of course, that's Led Zeppelin, right? So, but we'll talk about Led Zeppelin at some point because of course we will. But and so that's two Robert Plants, but that kind of doesn't count. So in general, there'll only be one album per artist, and we'll talk a little bit about the artists while we're doing that one kind of deeper conversation. But with that, I'm gonna say goodbye, and thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all again real soon. I love you so much. Bye.